Alright, so this is going to be my review of Legend of Korra, Episode 9 from Season 3, The Stakeout. Now, yes, I did get to see this episode online, and yeah, I've got a lot to talk about with this episode. Now, let me say right off the bat that I thought I was going to hate this episode, and there is a part of me that does, because that first half of this episode is painful. It is just painful, but I will give it credit because when it kicked up, and the ending made me go, oh my god, I want to see the next episode, oh my god, I want to see the next episode. So, oh boy, oh dear lord, let's get into this, shall we? Let's just get into this. So it pretty much takes off where it left off with Korra and the rest of the group trying to find Ai and lead them to Zahir, they track him to this like Earth Kingdom this little Earth Kingdom village oasis town, and here's where the biggest problem of this episode starts. Bolin. If anything, Bolin is probably the thing that makes me cringe. And it should have stopped, guys. It really should have. And there were moments in this season I liked Bolin, but for the past 2 episodes, he's made me go, okay, go away. I don't care. I don't want you dead yet. Keyword yet. But you're getting annoying, Bolin. I mean, Sokka, even when he had jokes, he could come up with plans. But Bolin is doing nothing. He's literally doing nothing. But anyway, I digress. So they are being chased by the Earth Queen. They are wanted posters, and there are bounty hunters apparently looking for them. So pretty much Mako comes up with this idea, and Mako, thank God, they're using him as, they're making him the brains of the outfit, basically the Donatello of the group, because someone had to. I kind of wish that was Asami though. More or less, Mako comes up with the idea to go stake out this town, and where him and Bolin will go searching for Ai, then report back to Korra, while Korra and Asami, who Asami finds this magical note in the car, the Jeep, of this map, and this little place where Ai is going to meet Zahir, which I think was planted by Su Yin, and I'll talk about that in a bit. I'll get to Su Yin in a bit, don't worry. But anyway, in here, we find that Bolin and Mako, who Bolin needs to shut up. I'm serious. I can't stop bringing this up because he gets to this whole stupid backstory that goes on for about a half a minute, and he makes these stupid disguises for Mako and Bolin and tries coming up with backstories. And I'm like, shut up. Just shut up. And Mako just tells him to shut up, and I'm like, thank you, Mako. There's something I thought I'd never say. And they go into town. Meanwhile, Korra, being Korra, is getting frustrated and all angry at the fact that they can't find anywhere this place that Ai is going to meet Zahir, and they can't find it. And they're getting frustrated. Meanwhile, it looks like spirits are trying to tell them something. And of course, Korra blows them off. Like I said, this first half of the episode was not great. Not great at all. But anyway, long story short, Bolin and Mako do find Ai, and they report back to Korra and Asami, and they more or less get a hotel from a room, and this actually where Bolin comes in and is like, oh, he's a mover star, and okay, I'll give you guys a room across the building from Ai. Not the exact words, paraphrasing. So yeah, and this is where something really tedious happens. That went on for too long, like a bad Family Guy joke. Pretty much what happens is that Bolin discovers a pie show board and pieces, and Asami decides to play with him. And this goes on for nearly 5 minutes. I'm serious, like not 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 4 minutes. So that goes on for a while, and I'm like, seriously, this does nothing but filler. And of course, Mako and Korra are checking out the scene, and when they finally see Ai, when they accidentally lose sight of Ai after God knows how many losses Bolin had to Asami. Holla, girl. But what happens is that Korra, of course, once again being Korra, decides to stop being logical and be headstrong. and she decides to kick down the door to Aiwei's room and discovers that he hadn't left at all. Well, his physical body, anyway. He had left into the spirit world, and Korra chases after him. Meanwhile, Asami, Mako, and Bolin stay behind and guard her body. So she goes into the spirit world, where Aiwei is talking to Zahir, who ain't happy. Zahir ain't happy at all, and he has a strong spiritual connection as well. And he's talking, and Aiwei and Zahir are talking, and Zahir does something awesome. He teleports his body and Aiwei's body out of the area they were, right to the Fog of Lost Souls, and throws his ass in there before coming back to talk to Korra. And this is where we find out more about Zahir, and to which I am like, okay, thank God you're a good villain. But before I get into that, I'm going to talk about something else real quick. While this is going on, apparently Zahir has a lot of control, spiritual control, because not when he's in his, out of his body and in the spirit world, he can actually talk to other people when make a few words here and there, not like full sentences, but he can actually talk to people in his physical body when he's out of it. He can so I think that's pretty cool. So he tells the others, he tells the rest of his group that where Korra is and go get her. So Minghua and Gazan, the Earthbender and Waterbender, go after her. Go hunting. We cut back to Korra and Zahir, who are talking, and this is where we find out about Zahir's plans. Oh wow! This is where the episode got better, in my opinion, where Korra is having a logical conversation with somebody. So, anyway, we find out that Zahir is a member of a secret group called the Red Lotus, and they're a splinter group of the White Lotus. What happened was that the Red Lotus formed after the events of what happened in the final days of Sozin's Comet, where the White Lotus fully revealed themselves to help take back Ba Sing Se, and they fully committed themselves to the Avatar, and as Zahir put it, they're nothing more than glorified bodyguards. Well, someone, who I forget his name, totally did not like that idea of the White Lotus doing that. So he made an extremist splinter group called the Red Lotus, and Zahir and his crew are fanatic members. Let me say this again, they are fanatics. And in a world right now that we live in where we have all these fanatic splinter groups that are all over the world and trying to cause disorder, that's a very real thing to touch on. That's a ballsy move there. Mike and Brian, ballsy move. So, pretty much what happens is that the plan was, the reason why they were trying to kidnap Korra at a young age was because they didn't want to hurt her. They didn't want to hurt her they didn't want to necessarily hurt her, necessarily hurt her. But what happened was that they originally wanted to take her and be her masters. Zahir, Gazan, Minghua, and Pali were going to be her 4 bending masters. The Red Lotus wanted to capture her and turn her into more or less a weapon, as Korra put it. They wanted to make the Avatar into a weapon, and they had Unalaq's help, who was a member of the Red Lotus. But however, Unalaq, being the terrible villain that he was, more or less backstabbed the Red Lotus and betrayed them, sold them out, and then covered his tracks. Which and even as Zahir puts it, look, we didn't like what Unalaq did. If it's all fair to you, Korra, we didn't support what Unalaq did. That was stupid. That was never part of the plan. And they did want something to do with Vaatu, but it's not really gone into. But however, what they do want further, and Zahir openly applauds Korra for opening the spirit worlds, and he continues by going on to saying, you could, why stop at spirit worlds when you can, when the world can be, unified? And to which he responds with, you could honestly take down government. They want to take down governments like the Earth Queen, Raiko, all of them. This makes sense why they wanted to take out Raiko now. And this is where I bring in Sue again. Sue only shows up for a little bit, and she openly tells Lin that, she sent the Avatar off, which was probably all part of the plan, because I'm convinced Sue put that little plant there in the Jeep. And I'm also convinced because Su Yin also, clearly detests the Earth Queen, and also we see a picture of her. There was a leaked picture of her with Zahir. So, as my good friend Ivan put it, God damn it. Really, guys? Really? Can we not have, good siblings in here? I mean, the only people that have been good siblings so far have been Bolin and Mako and Katara and Sokka. Those are the only siblings that don't really involve rivalries. We had Unalaq, we've had, Tarlok and Amon, and now we apparently have Lin and Su Yin. Great. Can we just have not an evil sibling? Can we just not do that anymore? Can we stop? Oh, god damn it. Oh, I can't wait for Ivan's reaction, Ivan Krolo's reaction to this. Oh, that is going to be fun. But regardless of how that is, Zahir, I literally went, oh, phew, you're not a stupid villain, thank God, Zahir. At least your plans aren't stupid yet. In groundwork, they sound awesome. So, groundwork-wise, they sound awesome. But anyway, cutting back to the physical world before I continue onward. What happens next is that Minghua and Ghazan are in the town, and Mako and Bolin are trying to stall them. Here's once again, and here, unlike with the Metal Clan thing, because I look back on it and be like, okay, there were metal benders there, and they weren't really prepared to fight, so I'll give the, I look back and saying, okay, they were looking like amateurs in the last time. In here, however, they're a lot more experienced. I'm going to take back what I said about the Zahir's group looking like amateurs in the last time, because I thought about it more, and they're like, okay, they were totally unprepared for, a huge conflict with the metal benders, and, all of, the Avatar not being in their grasp and whatnot. So I'll give that points. Here, however, Ghazan and Minghua were totally prepared for Mako and Bolin, who, Mako and Bolin, to their credit, try. But as Bolin puts it, he can't bend anything without Ghazan turning it into more ammo, and Minghua easily takes down both of them, whereas Ghazan goes after Asami, who has Korra's body. But back in the spirit world, Zahir keeps telling Korra, there's really no need. I mean, look what what President Raiko's done. He kicked you out of the city. The Queen, the Earth Queen, literally tried to turn airbenders into weapons, and Korra, to her credit, is trying to convince Zahir that, you have a power of a long-dead race. And this is also something Zahir brings up, is that it was the Fire Lord's scheme to wipe out the Air Nation. So, he does, in a weird way, he has a point that every form of government in the world of The Last Airbender, for the most part, has, even, he credits, Unalaq trying to take over the spirit and physical world by releasing Vatu and all that. So, every form of government in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I know the Earth King did some good things too, but yeah, he was manipulated for the most part by Long Feng and the Dai Li. So, for the most part, yeah, a lot of the governments in the world of Avatar are kind of shitty. So, yeah, and then he goes on to say that the only order is disorder, and if he can take down all these governments, then then the people can be free, quote unquote, to choose as they want. And if they want chaos, give them chaos. I kind of imagine that when he started saying that, I was like, all you need is a Bane mask and you yelling at Lin Beifong about, and do you accept this woman's resignation? No! We take back... I can't believe I'm doing this. We take back Republic City from the corrupt! I'm gonna stop now. So pretty much, Zahir is Bane, an airbending Bane. I can roll with it. I can roll with that. Anyway, so more or less that's Zahir and the Red Lotus's plot. They're more or less extremists that are anti-government and anti a lot of things, but for the most part, they're anti-government. And again, as I said, in a world where now we have these anti-government groups and religious extremists, that's a very close thing to hit home with. So I'll give the writers credit for doing something that is kind of a big issue these days in the real world. And Zahir's a terrifying villain. He's openly admitting to Korra, while not her whole endgame to Korra yet, but yeah, I'm glad. That's actually a terrifying plan, and I say this because it's a simple plan, but it's terrifying at the same time. Let me explain. I've always been afraid. I think some villains always have like these grandiose schemes, but sometimes what scares you the most about villains, such as Thanos, are villains that are, they are willing to die for their beliefs. They're willing to kill for it, and they're not willing to hold back. They're willing to go all out because, oh, you kill me, you make me a martyr. If I live, I'm a good guy. And then you kind of see that with like the League of Shadows, Ra's al Ghul, Thanos, a lot of villains. I mean, and Carnage, people who just live for disorder, and people who want to take down a lot of, take down establishments and fight for their general beliefs. They're scary. And that's, again, that's something in the real world that's kind of terrifying that's in the world right now. But I digress. So, while Ghazan is chasing Asami and Korra's physical body, these earth walls happen, and you think for a second, oh, they must have caught Ghazan has Korra. And there's this terrifying image of Korra when she wakes up, in a straitjacket with all these straps to her and mask on her. Basically, she looks at like Hannibal Lecter, more or less. And she's like, and she looks at Asami who's locked up, and what happened? And she's like, what happened? Did we get captured by the Red Lotus? And she's like, who's the Red Lotus? We got attacked by by a group of Earthbenders. We are being sent. We're in a prison camp right now, and about to be sent to the back to Ba Sing Se to face the Earth Queen. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. And then it gets a bigger oh shit moment when Ghazan and Minghua return to Zahir and Pali, and Minghua says we couldn't get. Ghazan tells her, hey, look. He tells Zahir, hey, look, man, I couldn't get the Avatar. These group of Earthbenders got in the way, and I couldn't get her. So, and then Minghua says, as a consolation prize, we did get these two, and they show a very badly beaten Mako and Bo Lin, and Zahir says, okay, it's time to go to Ba Sing Se. So it looks like we're going to have a massive throwdown between the Earth Queen and the Dai Li against Zahir's group. And that's going to be... I'm actually looking forward to that. Like I said, the first half of this episode made me go, because it was so slow, and it was making a lot of problems, and again, Korra being Korra at a few points. But for the most part, Zahir's plan sounds terrifying, and it's something that you can be scared of. And again, it shows just how deadly these villains are. And it looks like we're going to be wrapping up the whole Earth Queen story very soon, and then get back to the story itself. So after watching that last episode, I was kind of a little afraid, and the first half of this episode made me a little afraid as well. But however, that second and third half made it made it a more watchable episode. So I was afraid it was going to be a lot of filler. It's not. It has some major plot points to this, and yeah. And once again, I go, whew, because Zahir's actually a good villain so far. Once again, the plan sounds really good. It sounds like a very concrete, 100% plan. But again, we've seen concrete plans turn into complete and total stupidity in this series before. So on paper, the plans to make destroy every form of government in the world of the four nations and return it to the people who are clearly going to screw things up. They're basically going to turn the whole world into one giant pot of chaos, and yeah, and Korra's locked up with Asami, and the group's pretty much split up. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to mention, because this was brought up to me during Zahir's conversation. This, we also get a mention of Guru Lahima, who pretty much is, I guess Zahir is very committed to his beliefs, because he keeps quoting Guru Lahima, who he brings up a point of Guru Lahima once said that, you know, the only way change can happen is that if the old order is torn down. So I'm like, was Guru Lahima Ra's al Ghul? I don't know. But yeah, an air nomad, and yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier, so I'm sorry about that. But this was actually I think this is a good episode. I think it would have done a lot better had it had it not had that stupid pie show scene. That stupid pie show scene, and as well as that opening scene in Bolin. God damn it, Bolin. Just god damn it. But yeah, it also looks like Sue's gonna be a villain. Rolling my eyes at that. You can't see it, but I am. But yeah, anyway, once again, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys later.